Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency engages Onigwangbo community. President Tinubu calls for regional force to combat weapon smuggling. On foreign scene, suspected jihadists hold over 100 civilians hostage in central Mali. And in sport, Lagos State women team wins 2024 Nigeria Cricket Federation Championship. Now the details. I am Sarah Adesanya. Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency (DSVA) has taken its community engagement campaign to the Onigwangbo community to raise awareness of SGBV amongst residents. Community officer at the agency, Olatosin Akinde, delivered an in-depth address on sexual and gender-based violence (SGBV), covering various scenarios, cases that constitute abuse, relevant laws, and reporting procedures. Akinde encouraged participants not to ignore issues relating to sexual and gender-based violence, emphasizing the importance of reporting when necessary. Also speaking, Olukosi Akim of Onigwangbo, who represented the head of the community, urged participants to utilize the available services of the agency and express gratitude to the government for bringing the SGBV awareness to their community. Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, has announced that the Red Line rail from Agbado to Ido will commence a test run this week. Omotosho said for a period of 2 months, various interest groups and stakeholders will be invited to take a ride on the train to have a feel of the service the mode of transportation will render on the corridor. He noted that the train was part of the intermodal transportation system, and as such, connecting roads to rail and ferry facilities will be fixed for easy access. Speaking on the 4th Mainland Bridge and the Lekki Airport, Omotosho said foreign investors will soon arrive to deliberate on the mode and sources of funding for the project, which are positioned to change the economy of the state. It said the Lekki corridor will be spoiling estate development and other projects such as the Lekki Free Trade Zone, Dangote Refinery, and Lekki Deep Sea Port. It's no doubt the new face of Lagos. Omotosho said the investment in human traffic attracted to the zone have made the construction of a new airport inevitable, as the Murtala Mohammed Airport alone can no longer serve the state effectively. It averred that the construction of the 4th Mainland Bridge as alternative exit route from that access to the mainland is also a project conceived to address and envisage human and traffic congestion, which the Lekki Expressway will not be able to contain in the near future. The Investigation and Enforcement Directorate of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has uncovered the illegal activities of a fake cosmetics producer at the Balogun Trade Fair Gate, Trade Fair Complex, Lagos State. The agency identified the owner of the fake cosmetics producer as Pius Effiong Ayo. It stated Ayo was apprehended for manufacturing, packaging, and distributing and selling a range of substandard and counterfeit cosmetic products. NAFDAC's intervention led to the sealing of the legal manufacturing premises, Ayo's arrest, and the scheduling of a substandard product for destruction. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has called for the inclusion of students in the private universities as beneficiaries in the student loan scheme being floated by the federal government. He made the call during the inauguration of a building of Bells University's College of Postgraduate Studies in Ota, Ogun State. Obasanjo said the loan scheme is crucial to the development of the society and the welfare of the citizens, and that excluding a group of people will be counterproductive. Earlier, the Vice Chancellor of Bell University of Technology, Jeremiah Ojediro, pleaded for inclusion of private university students in the scheme, saying it was a program for social re-engineering and redistribution of wealth meant to assist the poor in the society. And now to the rest of the stories. President Tinubu has reiterated the call for the establishment of a regional standby force that will serve as a rapid deployment tool to combat both existing threats and the ones that could emerge. It will also serve as a strong deterrence to a large-scale weapon smuggling. The president gave the call at the opening ceremony of the African Counter-Terrorism Summit in Abuja. According to him, terrorism must be banished as the menace threatens farmers from their farms, children from their schools, and businesswomen from their sources of livelihood, thereby putting society and government into confusion and disarray. Tinubu added that the fight against terrorism required a collective approach and that the root causes must be addressed. The Nigerian Delta Development Commission, NDDC, says it needs abundant gas resources to fast-track the implementation of the Sustainable Development Project and programs for the Niger Delta. Representative of Akwa Ibom State and the governing board of the commission, Adesanya Nkon, said during the visit to the Minister of Petroleum, Gas, Ekperibe Ekpo, the commissioner identified the ministry's collaboration with NDDC as one which would yield dividends for Akwa Ibom State, Niger Delta, and Nigeria. He suggested that for NDDC's request to uplift the Niger Delta above poverty and unrest to be achieved, natural resources such as gas deposits must be harnessed and channeled into the empowerment of the people and development of the region. On his part, Minister of Petroleum said his ministry understands what it takes to invest in power generation and development, which involves investing in the present and future of the Niger Delta. He added that power generation is a cornerstone of development, and gas being one of the primary drivers in the power sector has to be properly harnessed and utilized in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. And in the sports report, says suspected jihadists in central Mali are holding more than 110 civilians hostage for 6 days now. 3 buses carrying the civilians were stopped on April 16 by the jihadists, who forced the vehicles and the passengers to head towards the forest between Bandiagra and Bankas. Bandiagra associations had published a statement condemning the persistence of terrorist attacks, the growing numbers of displaced people in towns, and the lack of action by the armed forces. According to the security sources and human rights report, violence increased in the center of Mali in the last quarter of 2023 when military operations surged. Despite the operations, armed groups have continued the attacks in the center and south, coming close to the outskirts of capital Bamako. And in the sports, Lagos women's cricket team has won the 2024 Nigeria Cricket Federation, NCF, and the Nigeria Association of Women in Sport, NAWIS, Southwest Cricket Championship after bearing its Ekiti counterpart by 4 wickets at the University of Lagos Cricket Oval. The team also picked the ticket to represent the Southwest Zone at the national finals at a date that will be announced by the Federation. Both Lagos and Ekiti dominated the preliminaries of the zonal elimination tournament, which also featured Osun, Oyo, and Ogun. Lagos defeated Ogun twice in the preliminaries, scoring 120 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in the first game. While the team needed a 5-wicket win during the second meeting, while Ekiti knocked out Oyo and Osun during the preliminaries and scored above 100 runs in each of the games. The cricket tournament was one of the events of the 2024 NAWIS Games. Just before we go, please do not drive beyond the specified speed limit. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website at trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that Solo administration trained 78 persons and placed 12 under the Talent Development Program, TDP, a student loan program aimed at training young persons in tech skills and placing them in employment? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. So in the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, DSVA, has taken its community engagement campaign to the Onigbongbo community to raise awareness of SGBV among residents. President Bola Tinubu unveiled the African Counterterrorism Summit at the Office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. We also told you that report says suspected jihadists in central Mali are holding more than 110 civilians hostage for 6 days now. And in sport, Lagos women's cricket team has won the 2024 Nigeria Cricket Federation (NCF) and the Nigeria Association of Women in Sport (NAWIS) Southwest Cricket Championship after beating its Ekiti counterpart by 4 wickets at the University of Lagos Cricket Oval. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adesanya and Joyuka. I'm Sarah Adesanya. Thank you for listening.